Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ntshangase and I will be your host for today. It is a very, very, very cold Wednesday. So I hope wherever you are warm and you are safe, snuggled, so that you can enjoy the topic of today. So today we have 3 guests who will introduce themselves. The topic is 20% is a reality that can be achieved through practical deeds. So I think before we even jump into the topic, we know that we have to invite God to be with us. So can we all just close our eyes in prayer? Dear Lord, we come before you today. We bring to you and we bring to your people an interesting topic that we want you to lead. Dear Lord, please be with us all times through the hards, through the good. We hope that you always put your presence with us. We thank you, Lord, for the day, because there are a lot of people who wanted to see the day but did not see the day. So we thank you so much for waking us up and for guiding us throughout the day. So as we go into this topic, dear Jesus, we pray that you guide us and be with us. In the holy name of Jesus Christ, amen. Okay, so I think without wasting any time, ladies and gentlemen, can I then hand over to my guests to introduce themselves? As I said, we have 3 guests that are joining us. They will then introduce themselves to say where they're from and everything else. So I'd like to remind all of you that there is a right your comment part of the topic. So you go and introduce yourself, and then after that you can enter abanye abantu lapha kule topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ntshangase. My name is Ntshangase. I am from the Natal Coastal District, district number 700. I am the lay leader elect of the Natal Coastal District. Thank you for being part of this program for tonight. I really do appreciate. Thank you very much.
Sir, thank you, sir. Butemba, are you there?
I am here, Sisi.
Okay, can you please introduce yourself?
Okay, thank you very much, and good evening, friends. My name is Maduna. I'm from the Highveld and Eswatini district, district number 10, and I am the statistical secretary elect. And I will also want to appreciate this opportunity to be part of this session this evening. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Butemba. Sis Amber is still experiencing some technical difficulties, so she will introduce herself when she joins us. Topic here too. So without wasting any time, gentlemen, can I hand over to you so that you can then talk to us about the topic that you were given. So I'll just hand over to anyone here who wants to start. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ntshangase. The topic that was given to us is that 20% is a reality that can be achieved through deeds, practical deeds in the Methodist Church of Southern Africa. We all know that as early as 2011, which is 10 years ago, because we are now into 2021 as we speak at the moment. So it was adopted by the conference that said in 2011 that the 40-40-20 quota be adopted as means of conducting our meetings and electing our officials in various levels of leadership, church structure, from society to the circuit level, district level, as well as the connectional level. And let me also bring it to the attention of people who are participating in this program on the social media, which is Facebook, because I think it is publicized on our Wesley Guild page and other pages which are on Facebook. Like any other resolutions that are being adopted by the church and implemented by the church, everything starts at a society level. That is where they get implemented at society level. And alongside with this one particular resolution that we are dealing with today, we have adopted a resolution on the inclusion of children, the kids, on the Holy Communion, because for quite a long period of time, kids have not been part of the Holy Communion in the life of the church. Holy Communion has always been including the elders in the church, but kids have not been part of it. And at some stage, the church decided that kids must be part of the Holy Communion. And in various circuits, it started whereby our ministers had to serve communion to the kids as well as the elders of the church, as it has always been a norm in the life of the church. So today, as I am speaking to the viewers on this platform, we are finishing 10 years having this resolution in existence in the life of the church from the time it was accepted and endorsed by the conference in 2011. So if you are to make an analysis just to look at how many circuit does have women in leadership, youth members in leadership, as well as laity in key leadership positions of the church, you would find that the progress is not exciting at all. There has been a little progress altogether that we are viewing from the analysis that we are making from various circuits, various districts. Let me start. I'm not too sure how much time do we have for each and every panel member of this platform at this point in time. But I wanted to just give an overview of ministers, especially women ministers, because the resolution that was adopted by the church in 2011 did not only include the youth, but it was a 40-40-20 quota or ratio, whatever you decide to use, which is 40 for males, 40 for females, 20 for youth. And the first 40, which is for males, did not have any problem, because that's where the correction was. For quite a long period of time, people who get elected key leadership positions in the church, whether you categorize it as being Western or as being African, but we know from our African communities, people who are males have always been the heads of families and organizations in our societies. And same thing applies with the Western culture. And now the church decided to take rather a more drastic approach in ratifying things and being more transformational in its approach. And in 2011, it came, the resolution of 40-40-20 came about, and it was adopted by the conference as a practice that must be followed throughout the connection. And if I to give just an overview from the minister's perspective, the inclusion of female clergy ministers in the leadership of circuits as superintendents. According to analysis that was made in 2020, which is last year, Cape of Good Hope had about 4 female superintendents. Number 2, which is Grahamstown, had about 3 superintendents. Synod number 3, which is Queenstown, had about 2 superintendents. Synod number 4 did not have any female superintendent, but I understand that it is a newly inducted or established synod, which is Namibia, that is synod number 4. Then synod number 5, which is Mokala Muntle, had about 2 female superintendents. Synod number 6 had also 2 superintendents. Synod number 6, which is Northern Free State and Lesotho district, it had about 2 female superintendents. Then number 700, which is Natal Coastal, had about 3 female superintendents. Synod number 8, which is Natal West, it had about 800, it had about 1 female superintendent. Central District, it had about 6 female superintendents. Number 10, which is Highveld in Swaziland, it had about 4 female superintendents. District number 11, which is Limpopo, it had about 4 female superintendents. Then number 12, district number 12 is Mozambique. It had about 5 female superintendents. Then the district that had a majority of female superintendents, it was district number 13, which is Clatbury. It had about 8 superintendents. Then district number 14, which is Kamtepu, it had 1 female superintendent. Then district number 15, which is Mulopo, it had about 0 female superintendents. There has been any female superintendent in the district. But also I am taking into consideration that the reason why particularly the Clatbury district, I am not suggesting that this is the only reason why they've got majority of female superintendents. But according to my analysis, the Clatbury district has got the biggest number of circuits in that district. So I think they are more transformational in their approach so as to embrace female clergy. I'm not too sure about the youth because the information that I could get my fingers on, it was particularly that of ministers because it was readily available on the yearbook of the church. So this is an analysis that I made, and I wanted to bring it to the attention of viewers on this platform because it's one of the resolutions. In fact, it is part of the resolution that we are actually dealing with it now. Then coming back to the main topic that was allocated to us as this panel that says 20% is a reality that can be achieved through practical deeds. I did not make any research or analysis regarding other districts in the connection, but I used my own district, decided to use my own district as a sample to cover this topic, looking at what is happening around my district in terms of electing young people into key leadership positions in the church, as well as inclusion of female leaders into key leadership positions. As for the Natal Coastal District, I think it is leading in terms of the transformational agenda. In the life of the church, Natal Coastal District is the only district that elected the female clergy into the position of being a bishop of the district as early as 1998, according to the research that I made. And you would notice that the first time in the life of the church, there has been a youth member, a member of the youth being elected into the position of being the lay leader of the district. I am aware that Cape of Good Hope District has also elected brother Uchigijela Silango. I think his name is Chigijela, Michael Silango. I think Michael Chigijela, I think that is his name. So he's also a youth member. But what is unique about Natal Coastal is that it is not the first time that they fulfill the vision of the church in terms of the transformational agenda. They elected the female minister into the leadership of being a bishop of the district, and also now in 2021, they have now also elected a youth person into the leadership of the lay leader in the district. So coming back to the question that has been given to us, that 20% is a reality that can only be achieved through practical deeds. The church has decided on the issue of including the children in the Holy Communion services. But what I would like to say, it all lies with the ministers of the church, ever they are stationed, to make sure that resolutions and decisions of the conference of the church are being implemented according to the requirements of the church as they become available in the yearbook of the church. As we are, as I am speaking in this platform, we've been to the conference of the church in Kimberley this year, and we are waiting for the GenSec of the church to make available the resolutions of the church to each and every minister of the church, so that those resolutions can become part of the implementation or the plans that are being made by various districts in the church, as well as circuits for implementation at the beginning of the ensuing, which is 2022. So the point that I would like to make is that it all lies with ministers of the church when it comes to the implementation of resolutions of the conference, of the church conference. It all lies with the ministers. It is surprising that in some circuits, Holy Communion is not served to the children, and the people who are supposed to be custodians of the laws and discipline, as well as with the book of order of the church, it is ministers. They are being entrusted with that role of making sure that the book of order or laws and discipline is being followed in its entirety, that includes the resolutions of the church, whether they have been included in the book of order or not. Ministers have got a responsibility to make sure that all those resolutions are being implemented because they are the agents of the church on behalf of the presiding bishop, if I may put it that way. Also, the issue of the young people being elected into key leadership positions of the church. My experience as a leader, as a young leader in the church, being below the age 35, which is a benchmark for young people, because according to the church, a young person is someone who is between the age of 16 when you get into the confirmation class up to the age of 5. You are still a young person. You are being regarded as youth if you are within that age cohort. My experience, especially because personally I am coming from the circuit that is rural, we are always following after those circuits that are in urban areas because they are always taking a lead, because they've got people who are able to challenge the status quo as well as the resolutions of the church. They are always aware of what is going on in the life of the church. So we always follow after them. Particularly, I am coming from the Wesley Guild, and the Wesley Guild is the only youth-dominated movement that is existing in the circuits that are in rural areas. So the Wesley Guild is somehow unpopular in circuits that are in remote or rural areas. For so many reasons. I cannot mention them now because I do not own those reasons, but those people who are old in those circuits, they are entitled to those reasons. They own those reasons. But somehow, to some extent, Wesley Guild is so unpopular. They are being regarded as labantwana baya papa. And should it happen that the church gets somehow overflowed, who are going to be asked to vacate the church and give space to the older people, it will be the Wesley Guild. So the Wesley Guild is always at the bottom of the list. They are the least in terms of the church hierarchy. They are at the bottom. They are not regarded as people who are can make a difference in the life of the church, who can influence the decisions of the church. So coming from that background, I was first elected as a circuit steward in 2017. And at that time, if you were to look at the composition of the circuit leadership in my circuit, which is Nongoma Circuit in the Natal Coastal District, we already have a male circuit steward, a female circuit steward, and I was elected to join that combination as someone who is young. To make it a 40-40-20, if I may put it that way. And I need to acknowledge that all happened under the leadership of the late Reverend Makaye, Umfundisi Umakaye. And I'm grateful for that because that was an achievement to his ministry, because he was able to achieve and to implement the resolution of conference that insisted that each and every circuit leadership, in fact, all levels of the church, there must be 40-40-20 representing. And I'm grateful for that. So we were elected in that manner. Then this year, the district, so it was as a transformational district. And I mentioned earlier that the district has achieved to elect the first female bishop as early as 1997. So we were able to achieve that. Then this year, I was elected as a lay leader of the district. But in concluding on what I'm presenting now, so to give an opportunity to the members of this panel, I think, like I said earlier on, it all lies with the minister. If not the minister, whoever is presiding over that particular meeting. If it is an elective meeting, the presiding officer has to make sure and has to state to the meeting that we now have got enough males. We are now looking for a certain percentage of females. We are now looking for a certain percentage of youth, so that the committee that we are electing is complying to the resolution of the conference. That is, there must be 40-40-20 resolution. I think it all lies with the presiding officer, and in most cases, the presiding officer is always the minister. In most cases, it all lies with the minister to make sure that they give guidance to the meeting and to compel people to follow the resolution of the church that says there must be 40-40-20 resolution. Thank you so much, Sisi. I am going to come back whenever a need arises. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much. I think you have said a mouthful, and whoever did not understand the topic, I'm sure now is clear on what we are talking about. So thank you so much. We'll then take questions after the last speaker, so that we can just all answer at once. So now we will hand over to Usis Amber. She managed to be able to join us. So Sis Ambeswa. Sis Amber, let me do that. When you come in, can you please introduce yourself, and then you can just into the topic. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so very much. All right, my name is Hlahlana. I am from the Kumkani district, that is District 300. I am the district state secretary elect. So I was elected at this year's Great Synod in May. Okay, I had a bit of network issues, but then the writing will go. Hopefully, I also had to change the position and move to the other room, apparently. Now, in the topic, Esinga, you're saying that 20% representation in practicality, in essence. And to mine is that it is practical. Let me first thank Upa Rasponga for the background. It's very enlightening, and it gives a direction to what we'll be talking to Songe as the rest of the speakers. Now, the practicality in this is that, yes, it's very practical and it's realistic, but only if we are intentional about it. He mentioned over that it's up to whoever that is overseeing to ensure that all these resolutions, all these changes, all these transforming decisions take place. So now I'm with him in that we all have to take part in ensuring that this transformation ends. Now, we've seen in most districts, we are trying to implement. Change is not always easy. Change takes time, but I'm happy with the strides that we are seeing, which is the overview of what other districts are doing. I just wish that it does not only be a resolution that applies on the bigger structure sector, but when we speak of leadership, Also, Singapore align to it being a Wesley Guild member because it's just a youth person. So anyone who meets that 20% criteria, which is 35 years of age and below, can take up the space and become umuntu okhokelayo. And I don't want us to close the bracket to just being a Wesley Guild member. No. There are many young people in our districts, in our societies, in our circuits that do not aspire to become Wesley Guild members, but aspire to be in leadership. So, the bracket is for all. Every young, active person who loves Christ and who is willing to serve and to lead are unique with that platform. The danger now becomes that we are so stuck on 20% that at some point I fear we will elect or put abantu abatsha into these positions just to meet the criteria. So I am very hopeful and pray that we are mindful and not only elect because we want to have 20% payana, but we have to elect because of the capability. We trust this person. They can do the job, they can deliver, and we'll be there to support them as abantu. Going back to what I was saying, that it must not be into bigger structure, that is the synod executive or district executive. For example, we had the elections in these past conventions, and I noted that in the other organizations, there is no 20% representation in those executives. Now, it makes one think, in a limitation, this 20%, does it apply to a certain organization? Does it apply to a certain structure in the church? Or is it an overall thing that we all have to be intentional about? So it starts like I mentioned, at society level, go to your leaders meeting, goes to the second level. So we have to be visible. I expect when it must come from the top down, but it can be nicer if it was from the bottom up. But like I said, change takes time. So with you in due course, we'll all get into the groove of things. Apply, to be confident enough to want to take up this positions. Now,
I think Ambeswa's reception is becoming very, very bad, extremely bad.
Since Ambeswa, can you hear us? Okay, I think while we give her time to reconnect, let us give time for Ubutemba to Uba Angene, because Usis Ambeswa just left. So I think une network connection that is very bad. Temba, I think you can just ungene, and then we'll go to bring so
thank you, Sisi. Good evening once more, brothers and sisters, and thank you for having me on this platform on the topic that has been given to us. 20% is a reality that can be achieved through practical deeds. Firstly, let me thank Oputisbonga, our lay leader, thank you for the background, Puti. Actually, you did justice to that, because for us to be where we are right now, we needed that background. So thank you very much for the background, the analysis, and the overview of where we are as the church, as far as the 20% is concerned. And what are the progress or the achievements that we have come across so far. And on the topic on itself, I want to concur with Utisbonga and Usise Ambeswa as they were doing their introductions. So the 20% reality, it's solemnly dependent on where we come from, because we cannot speak of 20% reality at the higher structure of the church. It starts as low as a society and follow the levels of the church. And I think, as they have both put it, presentations, for me, the 20%, the topic as it's put before us, I have both answers, contexts to say, yes, it's achievable. And on the other side, we are saying, no, it's not achievable. The reason for me saying 20% is not achievable in MCSA, we saw that the vibe that took place this year during May Synod, because all our synods said almost same weekend, and all of them had elections on them. So for me, the 20% that we are talking about, when I'm viewing it, it starts from the representation of young people from circuits to the bigger structures of the church. And when you, the analysis that we are doing or that were done, I'll speak about my synod. We had a survey that showed how many young people, how many females, how many males. And the representation of young people into the sitting was less than 20%. So it means the problem is as far back as within the societies and in the circuits. However, when we came into also the election time, the way the elections, you know, when the candidates are there and people are electing, you know, it has always been a norm that young people are down there in the back. So most of the time when elections come, we focus on the elderly people, then young people, if there's a chance. But I'm saying this not to say it was a favor for me to be elected. No, I think my synod was intentional when they did the election, because before the elections, we know that there will be talks, there will be people who approach you and what to ask if you are available, are you capable, and what will you be able to serve the purpose. So that work was done, and for me it showed that the church slowly but surely it's moving towards the direction of putting people into the center, because that's the other thing that we need to understand, that electing young people into leadership positions from society level up to connection, we are not doing them any favors, but we are electing them into those positions with an understanding that they are capable to execute whatever responsibility that is given to them. And I must say that the 20% achievement, it is doable only if the people who are leading us from societies, in this time, we are speaking about our ministers, because you find in some circuits, there are ministers who are not implementing the resolutions of the church. And when you challenge such, you are perceived as somebody who knows too much, or you are perceived as somebody who is trying to work against what the circuit believes in. You are just saying, we are part of the MCSA. So whatever MCSA has resoluted on, we need to implement it. And I'm one of the fortunate young people in my synod, if I may say, because in my circuit, most of the, actually 90%, if I may say, of ministers who served in my circuit, they were intentional about involving young people into leadership positions. Every time, whether it's we elect society stewards, we elect circuit stewards, they will always remind the meeting that if it not comply with the resolution, the elections will not be regarded as fair and just. So they made it a point that the elderly people in the churches understand that young people are part of the church. We are not leaders for tomorrow, but we are leaders now and tomorrow. So they made that to be a point to be understood. And in my second, in the synod, in the district, in Hlahlana and Eswatini, I remember it was around 2015 when I was elected, first election into the bigger structure of the church. I was elected as a society steward around 2015. And then in 2019, I was elected as a second steward. And I must say, this was not the easy journey or easy pill to swallow for most of the elderly people, because when that change happened, there were many comments like, where are these young people going to take our church? These ministers are, because must we get young ministers who understand and implement, and they were also labeled to say, no, these ministers are killing the church. Where are they going to do with these young people? So the journey was not easy. From being a society steward to a second steward, it was not easy. But what we believed in was that you know yourself, because leadership achievements are not only measured by age, but capability and maturity. So that's one thing that we always have to remind them. For me to qualify to be a leader, it's not about my age or whatever, but it's the understanding, the availability, the commitment, because we have older people who are old, like we say older, but when they are not doing justice in leadership, then we'll get a young person who fits in well into the roles of leadership, and they do their best more than those people who believe that they cannot. So on this topic, it is achievable. It is achievable through practical deeds, but it also starts from young people themselves within the circuits and societies. In our case, whenever there are elections that are going to sit, we will call the youth meeting. And I love the point both the speakers mentioned, whenever we speak about youth in the Methodist Church, especially in the Black context, we are only thinking of Wesley Guild. And that's not the case. So in my context, whenever there are elections and what, we will call a meeting of all young people within the society or the circuit and discuss whatever needs to be discussed. And from that meeting, we nominate, we come with nominations of people that we see fit to be elected into those leadership positions that we have always been sidelined when it's time of elections. So that's where we started. We made sure that our MCYU structure from society to circuit is alive. It's not only alive during the youth synod era, then we vanish. We made sure we are alive, we meet, we discuss issues that affect us and whatever. So it was easy for us to, when it comes to issues of elections, say singenelele. And then as it went further, I want to commend my synod also. Much as we are not there with the 20%, but we saw most of the circuits electing young people into second steward positions. Society, yes, they've always been young people circuit, but around 2018, 2019, we saw many circuits now moving towards that transformation of putting young people into second steward positions. And that gave hope to say it means most of the circuits are being intentional about this resolution of 20% into leadership. And then it went further. Then this year, I must say, into our synod, there were a couple of young youth candidates for various positions. However, I must say I was one of the candidates, and I got elected into being the district statistical secretary. And the motivation behind that was not only about the compliance that we need a 20%, or there was a hype that young other synods elected 20%, because I remember Natal Coastal was the first synod to elect, and we were all happy, rejoiced that Brother Sibonga is here, lay leader, and the statistical secretary is a young person. So we were happy, all of us. But when it came to most of our synods, we needed to be intentional to say we are not doing it because one synod did it. And then the other thing that Brother Sibonga included that made most of us to be intentional about the issues of children and youth into positions. It was the issue of Holy Communion. This is a resolution as far back as 1999, if I checked my books well, that young people children can be served Holy Communion, and who can stand in, even the children ministry practitioners can guide children how to go about. Even that, it got a lot of resistance from elderly people in our churches. But as it was mentioned, it depends on the minister. Because I remember one minister in my circuit, when arrived, he told them, when they said, no, these children cannot eat, we'll rather serve them marshmallows and what. I said, no, that's not what the church is saying. As Holy Communion, understanding the sacrament, Holy Communion, and what is it all about, and the family eating together, then there's no need to say these will eat after those, or they will eat what, those won't eat what. So that's when we really needed to move as a church. And I must say, since 2020 came, the COVID era, that's when it proved that young people are needed in church leadership positions, and it is doable because COVID came unexpected and everything changed drastically. Systems, how we used to do things, it changed drastically. So we needed young people because we believe people with 35 years and below, education-wise, work-wise, we are computer literate. We know how things are being done. So we found ourselves with the issue of transformation, having to transform, doing total transformation into church leadership structures so that young people are involved and can drive some of the functions that needs to be done in the life of the church. So as I'm about to conclude, I want to say, indeed, 20% it is achievable through our practical deeds. And you know, when we speak about practical deeds, this is a challenge to young people to say, much as the church is embracing us as young people into leadership, but we also need to come on board so that when we lead, we do not lead with fear or to prove a point, but we need to lead so that people know that we are capable of holding those leadership positions. We need to be hands-on, we need to be active, we need to be sensible in our leadership. We need to be able to have the element of influencing the systems and changing the status quo. Then in that way, we will be able to achieve this 20%, because we do not want to find a situation whereby after these people who are elected into 20%, when the next election comes, we go back to old people, we forget about young people. I thank you very much, our host, for that opportunity to present my story.
Thank you so much, Brother Themba. That was quite a mouthful. I'm trying to check, Usis Ember, are you still here, so that we can give you an opportunity for Uba Ukabezele, Sister Wam?
Okay, yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, over to you, sis.
Okay. talk about, I just remember the scripture, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Okay. But yeah, I'm back again just to conclude on what I was saying about us being intentional about applying the resolutions or youth leadership. We as young people as well have to take part in the transformation. We have to be visible. We have to be available to be capacitated so that we can all have the confidence and have the necessary knowledge that it takes to take up these positions, like we all alluded to, from as small as being Igosane society or being convener where department in your or wherever, or being a class leader at your society. So we have to create those opportunities ourselves if aziko. Be intentional and be a part of the broader church and not just sit on the sidelines and then expect we will be taken seriously. We have to first take ourselves seriously. So Yonke Lendo is very much practical. And I'll also align myself with Brother Themba. Gento Eti, it is now our responsibility as I'll say we are the guinea pigs. We are the ones that are testing the waters for the other young people coming behind us. For us to be trusted into these leadership roles, we have to take everything seriously, show up, do the work, be sincere, be compassionate, take everything seriously and commit ourselves because I can't even commitment. So we have to be committed to the work and also be willing to learn while we're in the which is very good and very big of being trusted with so much with so much work. And lastly, before the valley, as much as we are saying that yes, all of this has its inner ups and downs as well. There are pros, there are cons. Like I said earlier, change is never easy, but one small step leads to the next step. And I like Glenda, who we keep on referring to the Holy Communion thing. Yeah, one of that resolution of Holy Communion. You see now that went over and how far we have come now. So Younger Lendo is practical and Younger Lendo can be done and can be achieved. So I just hope that we can stand up as Abandabacha and challenge the status quo and take up space and be available. It's our year too. Be it by doing whatever that needs to be done, being committed to the cause and not forgetting we have to be committed to Christ because that's the only reason we are here. We are not here to fulfill as Tulo as these portfolios, but with Christ in the center, all of that is possible. So we have to be intentional and be aligned to what we want to achieve or the bigger picture in mind. And also know that Tina that are in these positions, like I said earlier, we are creating a way for Abanyabandabazembakwit so that Yenekawa can trust us that you know what Abandona can really move up the ladder. Abandona can come in and make a change. So we have to be very focused and intentional with everything that we do. Mandipele up or then we can give space for the comments and questions if the comment. Thank you so very much for your patience again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Amber. I'm glad that we finally got a chance to hear you up until the end. So just looking at the Facebook comments and questions, we don't really have questions per se, it's just comments. So I'll read to you what is on our Facebook page. So Usista Une, Uti, hello, Brother Themba. So I think I see Brother Themba has a fan base. And then Uputi Simo is saying he's watching with us. And then we've got Brother Pumlani Shinga, who is saying, my lay leader, my daughter. So I'm not sure ngelaa xesha bekuthetha ubhuti Sibonga na. And then we have an interesting one from Utseho, who is heartbroken and saying 20% will never be a reality for some districts because the very same 20% is sabotaging itself because they do not fully participate after being elected in societies or circuits. And those that are actively participating in leadership, they are being bullied by the 40%, or they are treated like troublemakers when they express themselves, and that sometimes pushes them away from the church. So this one is an interesting one because I think also I wanted to get into Indo 80. So you guys are all saying slowly but surely izinto ziyenzeka, ne? So, and based on your research, ibonakalisa uba that most synods is not implementing the vision of the church. So I just wanted to check why do you guys think that synods or circuits are reluctant to implement lento ka 20%? So, and then elandelayo, ubrother Tolohelo is saying the journey is never easy. And then ubrother Mlando is saying that he's watching with us. So I think if you guys can get into that question, because I think I had two questions initially, but I think Sister Ember has covered me up at Gqibeleni because I wanted to check what mechanisms can we have or can we do to develop young people into taking center stage in church and contesting the space? Because you get that, Nyani, some people are like, they do have passion or they do possess leadership skills, but because of the way church is operating, they kind of reluctant to want to like contest the space, yabo. And njengoba ubrother sister esicho apha Facebook page to say that we often come across Tina as young people as ubana we naughty, or yabo, when we express ourselves, we always come across as though we are people who are troublemakers. So I think can you guys get into that? And then if there are more questions, then after the answers we can then tackle the questions. But if not, okay, we'll say our closing remarks and then close the topic. So I'll hand over to you guys. Whoever wants to answer can answer. Thank you.
Sis Ambeswa.
As young people, as
Hello, Sissy.
Hi.
I'm sorry, I had to change my gadgets. I hope I'm still following on what you have just asked us to do. I wanted to highlight the fact that based on my observation, many ministers are complaining, and what they are complaining about, it is something that I have also witnessed in my circuit and in various levels of leadership. Young people are being afforded some space to lead in various levels of the church, but they are nowhere to be found. I just want to make an appeal to young people of the church that they need to take whatever responsibility that has been afforded to them by the church, whether it is being a class leader, a society leader in various organizations, a circuit leader, whatever position that has been bestowed upon them, that they take and treat it seriously, because the church it takes serious whatever it does. So young people are there elected into key leadership positions of the church, for the church to continue to do its work and being progressive. And if they are not going to treat those responsibilities seriously, the church is not going to be progressive as it wants to be. So I am appealing and urging all young people in the church that can they please make themselves available and to accept each and every responsibility that is being afforded and allocated to them, to take it serious and execute it with due diligence, if I may put it that way. Thank you very much.
Can I just get your question, Poppy, please, again?
Oh, okay. So I was saying, based on what Usiseko was saying, to say that 20% will never be a reality for some districts, because the very same 20% is sabotaging itself, because they do not fully participate after being elected to societies and circuits. And then those, like the 40, those that are active, are being bullied by the 40%, are being bullied by the 40%, or treated like troublemakers when they express themselves, and that sometimes pushes them away from church. So now what I had initially as a question was the fact that what mechanisms can we have as young people to develop, to take center stage in contesting the space, because I feel like what is being said here is true, in the sense that some people do have the capacity to lead, but they are scared because of the way church is operating. So I can hear you guys are talking about how young people don't attend things or whatever, but how do we then make them to see the seriousness of them leading in the church? And then the second one was that you guys also mentioned Gakulu into it, slowly but surely the church is implementing. So I wanted to check also into it, what makes you guys think that, why are synods or circuits reluctant into implementing the vision of the church? Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I'll start and say that on the first question, that is the most unfortunate thing we will have. Like I said, there will be pros, there will be cons. For every positive, there's a negative. And it all starts with the lack of commitment that we as young people sometimes do not have, or we do not show. We prioritize other things, so it starts from there. Now, in trying to create mechanisms to capacitate and to build confidence, I think another thing that can be done is to give space for growth, because in that we find happening is that, yes, I do take up the position and be a class leader or be whatever that I am, but immediately I make a mistake, there is that doesn't go right. Which is the young people that I am representing, and then going to the broader church or the broader congregation. You feel so small, and like there's this huge thing that has been done. And if we can allow space to make mistakes and grow, because remember, no one goes to isikolo sokukhokela, especially ecaweni. Akho nto ithi kune-classes apha whereby we are teaching how to lead. This is the module. So you must follow these rules and A, B, C, D, and E, F. So icawa yethu, which is everyone, including us as the youth as well, we have to give each other room to take up space and lead, but also to make mistakes and be able to learn and grow from them. Now, respect goes a long way in terms of how we articulate things and how we communicate. So sometimes, Kenyani, will find that and it's all in the manner of which, because sometimes you might be saying the right thing, but because of how you are saying it, it loses yonke lando or the point or the rich. We have to be respectful both ways. That is us young people and abantu abadala, which is the church or the congregation, and everyone who is in the system. Because yonke lento yeyethu sonke, and no one here is born a leader or is born you learn and you grow and then you experience things. And then lastly, we have to inspire each other.
Sis Amber, unfortunately, because of time, brothers and sisters, I think we can move on to the next person. If there's someone else who wants to take a bite into the questions, and then if not, we can then move on to conclusions. Is it Brother Temba and Brother Sbonga? Are you guys still here?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yes, in attempting, I think both Sbonga and Amber, they've really mentioned ways, the mechanisms that we can use into making sure we are being taken seriously as the church. And it is an outcry everywhere. And I also support to say, young people are not available. You know, the only time you will see what is a corner, it's September month. We are there. We are on Facebook, social media. Then the 11 months of the year, we are not here there. So that's what brings out to other people how they can trust us with the leadership roles. So as the request has been made from Brother Sbonga, no Sis Amber, young people, let us be the change that we want to see. I think in the Gauteng Department of Health, we have started this thing of youth empowerment, and our slogan says, nothing about us without us. So we need to be involved, we need to be intentional, and we need to be seen active, not only when it suits us, but to be seen active. And I think the other thing that can help us into this thing of achieving position, I think we need programs. We need to have programs, my leader, from that level going down, much as it starts down up, but also from that level of synod to say now that we are being exposed, then we need to have empowerment programs, trainings, leadership workshops for young people at the bigger level of the church, so that this thing can cascade down to understand good young people, we are needed, and whatever that they've elected us to, it should not be just a laughing stock, but it should be something that will be sustained. Maybe next time we'll be talking about 40% youth, not 20% anymore. But for that to be achievable and doable, it needs us, the commitment from young people. And also, we need to improve on our level of communication. You know, communication, if there's no communication and how you communicate with on other issues and matters, it also matters a lot. So if we can achieve on that thing again, of it's a skill. Communication, we know it's a skill, but we need to find a way of how we present ourselves. How? Because the other thing, as the church is bringing this 20% issue, we must know what it has never been there. So it's a shock to many people, especially the elderly people. So the resistance we are getting, we should not take it negatively, but we must use it to win them so that they can see what all of us can make a greater contribution into the growth of our church. So I believe, sis, if we can champion and be intentional about these things, especially the empowerment and training of young people, then we will have a way. And even those synods that do not believe into the youth leadership, they will see that young people are capable and they can take the church far. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brother Themba. I think an interesting comment on Facebook from Sis Apilile Lumeza. It's very interesting. I think it's a note that we can close on, just to get young people to think about how they can play an active part in church, and to think about the church depends on us as young people, because if we don't take up leadership positions now, we won't be able to learn and be able to then carry on the legacy of the church. So Usis Apilile says that this 20% can become a reality if we as young people take up an active role within the church. As it has been said, that we as young people, we don't show up kwi-circuits zethu or societies, but sivela sesiqhamka kwi-districts or snots. So she says charity begins at home. If the circuit or the minister ayimazi lo mntu kwi-circuit okanye kwi-society, it can't be easy uba ayoxhaswa at a district level. We as young people need to commit ourselves emva emakhaya ukuze sifumane inkxaso kwicawe yethu at large. So young people are very capable, but they just need to show up and take the space in that way, we can regain the respect. So I think a very, very positive comment from Sister Apilile on our Facebook page, and I'm actually very interested and excited to see that people are engaging in the topic, meaning that you guys did a very good job in introducing the topic to our viewers today. So I'll give you guys, Budisbonga, do you have any last words you'd like to say before we close? All right, Butemba, do you have any last words you'd like to say before we close?
No, I'm covered.
All right, thank you so much, Buti. Sis Ambeswa?
Closing comment from my side would be that it starts with us. We honestly really need a change of attitude. We need a change of how we do things, and we need to be committed, because it all starts with wanting it and being committed to the change. And like we said earlier, from the Sobatha to after that, as much as our ministers have to implement, of the overseers of the implementation of these things, and we know that it's supposed to be happening, we are the ones that have to challenge those such things and introduce and ensure that this transformation in all our small corners and small spheres within this connection. So my plea is that we honestly be intentional about it, be committed to the change, and like we all said, So the small baby steps that we are doing will surely prove to be into that will also look to the beginning of 2020. This step was taken and look where we are now. So I urge that you all take part in this transformation and go Skakon.
Thank you so much, Sis Ambe. So I think I like the note Olendangayo to say everything has a beginning. So even if it starts at a slow pace, but eventually we will get where we need to get to. So I think thank you so much to my guests also for unpacking this topic and for actually being patient with one another. Network problems again are our biggest challenges, but we managed to actually get the topic across and also to our Facebook viewers, to the people who are watching us from home. We thank you so much for your undying support. We hope that you will be active all the time when we have topics like these on the Wesley Guild SA page. So like I said, when I started the show, my name was Yandisa Dlembula. See you next time on the next time, same place, same time. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Sisi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please pray for us.
Baba ufefel kaYesu Kristu uthando nobudlelwane bomoya oyingcwele bungaphumula nathi sonke ngokudebe naphakade. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.